Ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of how to start this. Hey, welcome back. I don't know how to start this. I'm here with Clifford. This is a solid intro. This is a solid intro, isn't it? Thanks for being here. I'm incredibly awkward if you didn't know. This is Clifford. Welcome to the Silly Goofy podcast, by the way. Sick.
Oh, yeah.
This is Clifford. They've been staying at my house a little bit. I just woke up. They were here. I don't know what happened. No, no. But no. If you want to go down the line, introduce yourself and what you do, and then we'll get started. And I won't be so awkward.
What's up, everybody? My name's Thomas Reuter. I play guitar in Clifford.
I'm Drake. I do vocals, if you can't tell by the sound of my voice.
I'm Corey. I play drums, if you can't tell by my short stature.
I'm Griffin. I do guitar and backing vocals.
Wow, solid. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for being here. Sorry for kind of just like springing this on you, by the way. But yeah, this is Clifford. Where are you guys from? You said Massachusetts, I think, or Boston? Anywhere specific?
Yeah, we're from Boston, Massachusetts, but a lot of us are from different places, kind of all over the country.
Oh,
I guess we can also
okay.
go down the line on that. If
Yeah,
you want.
yeah, go for it.
I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Oh, damn.
I'm from Foxborough, Massachusetts.
I thought you were going to say I'm from Fox News for some reason. I heard Fox, and I was like, oh, God, no.
I'm Corey Hall from Fox News, and this is today's latest story on the border. I'm from Huntington Beach, California.
Oh, nice.
I'm from Boston, Mass, Brookline, Mass, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we all go to school in Boston, so
Nice.
we call ourselves a Boston band.
Is that how you, like, kind of like the band started? Like, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, like how it started and everything.
So the name Clifford originated when I was in high school, because I had a buddy that was like the one friend that like was a metal guy at
Nice.
my high school. So we were just like, yeah, well, you know, we got to make a band, man. This is like going back to like sophomore year of high school and stuff. And it was kind of on and off. We could never really find a drummer that like worked, because everyone there was just either like a rock or like a jazz drummer kind of thing.
Okay.
So it never really like, you know, just like never, you know, you need like a double kick and stuff. It just
Yeah.
wasn't happening. So then, you know, we both found out that we got into Berkeley in Boston, so we
Nice.
kept it going.
You said
Found-
all of you got into Berkeley?
Yeah, me and
Okay,
my
I think you and I were talking about that a second ago, but I already forgot
Mhm.
that who you said was in. I know that you were, obviously, because you're wearing the hoodie.
all of us were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Wild.
I mean, he says that, but like at the point that Thomas was just talking about, it was just two members. It was him and another friend
Oh, okay.
that you went to high school with. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we weren't in the picture yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we.
There's a lot of passing the mic back and
Yeah.
forth. We're working with what we got here.
Oh yeah.
What year was this?
This was 2018 that we just like the formation of the band started.
Again, we were not in the picture.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of just like wanted to make a band. You know, couldn't find a drummer. Found out we got into Berkeley. Found other members. And then my friend that I started out with in high school, he didn't like that we were getting too like progressive. So he was like, "Yeah, this isn't really for me anymore,
For
man."
that reason, I'm out.
Yeah. The name Clifford actually was from high school too. It doesn't mean anything. It's just
Okay.
it's Clifford. But yeah, and then we found Drake for vocals, because Drake was already at Berkeley at the time.
Nice.
And then, you know, we just had a couple lineup switches, but then this is our current vibe, and we've been having a good time. We think
Nice.
it's the best formation yet.
Nice. I agree. It's the only information I know, but I agree. You guys are on tour right now, right?
Yeah.
Is it like the tour you're like promoting like the new a new stuff or anything specific?
Yeah, it's
or-
called the Sirens Call Tour because, like, the second day of the tour, we released our song called Event Horizon,
Okay.
and one of the lyrics has Sirens Call in it,
Oh,
and
okay.
that sounds cool for a tour name.
It does sound cool, yeah.
Yeah. So it's called the Sirens Call Tour. It's 6 days, 5 shows, and we released Event Horizon on day number 2. Yeah,
Nice.
the day number 2, and it was fun, and we've played it every day
Nice.
of the tour.
That wasn't the one that you guys cut yesterday.
No.
No.
Okay, what was that one?
The one that we cut was the first song off of an EP that we'll release at some point, hopefully later this year.
Okay.
Basi-
think it'll be released some point in life.
some point in life, yeah. Basically, we have written and almost entirely finished recording a 5-song EP. It's a concept EP about the 1955 Le Mans disaster in France. It's like a car race that happened, and like some cars like crashed and like killed like 80 people.
Oh my God.
Or something like that. And I think
the deadliest motorsports accident in history.
Jesus.
deadliest motorsports accident
I was
is what you
gonna
said.
just like I was gonna at some point ask like, what do you write about? But now I just want to hear more about
That
'cause-
specifically, that was Thomas's idea of like
Okay.
we should write an EP about this, because I don't really do concept stuff like that often or like off the top of my head. I'll just write what comes to mind.
Okay.
So Thomas was like, we should write something about this,
Yeah.
and then that set the stage for
That's pretty cool.
that EP. But
Because you can like build off that. It's like, oh yeah, this is the concept, and like even like just kind of like build off that to do multiple other things and stuff like that.
yeah, no, it's cool. It's 5 songs. It's all recorded for the most part. I just need to write and record lyrics for the last song, and then just
Gotcha.
like touch up some stuff. But originally we were gonna release that like as our next release.
Mhm.
But we kind of backtracked and said, all right, we need to like build up a bigger fan base, just like more dedicated people who we know are going to listen to our
Gotcha,
stuff,
okay.
because we really like what we have here. So we're just going to release some singles, like promote it, go on tour,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
try to
That's
build
smart.
a fan base. So that way when we release this EP, it people will actually listen to it. And you saw us at least the one night that we played that one song. Like it's slow, it's cool, but like
Yeah.
it's slow. It's for people who know the song, right? Like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people who haven't heard the song, it's kind of slow. Like it's a slower burn.
Little bit of
it's
like
it's a whole
break
journey.
from the-
Exactly. Yeah.
Because watching you guys yesterday, I was able to pay like more attention because I was able to pay just more attention, and I was just like, damn, like I saw these guys yesterday, and they were like they rip, but like this is just different. I don't know why. It was just like being able to like really like appreciate it more and like see everything that everyone's doing. It was very cool.
The stage was lower to the ground.
Yeah, I didn't have to like crank my neck up like this. Like, how is it up there?
Yeah.
But no, it was cool. Yeah, you guys. So we first met in Rochester, and we played with you there at the Bug Jar, and then you played Binghamton. You played here, not here. This is my house. Played here in Binghamton at the
10
Bundy.
minutes away from here.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. What did you guys think of the Binghamton show? Like, how have the shows been? I should say, how have the shows been for the tour? How's the tour been?
Should I be honest? Or
You know, I'll be the first to admit it. We've had shows that are ass. Like they've just been bad. It happens. You know, it's part of the whole thing. But
yeah,
I'm not trying to
mean,
set you up or anything. But like, you know, you say what you want, or if not, I'll cut this entire part out.
So it's been an interesting experience so far because there are a variety of factors that have come into play that can really reduce the amount of people that will show up to a show. So our first show was in Providence. It was April 19th. We played at a venue called AS220. Gorgeous space.
Nice.
But it was a mixed bill. So we were playing with 3 other like indie groups.
Okay. I love mixed bill shows, but they're very hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah, we did have some people who were at the show that were really digging into our stuff, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day we played. Well, yeah, so let me backpedal for a second. Sorry, I'm a
sick
total
backpedal, bro.
scatterbrain.
It's okay. Me too.
ADD, all that silly shit.
He's a yappy man.
Yapper, thank you, thank you. Man, my bandmates love me and I love them back. Damn. So, yeah, I mean, turnout wasn't huge, but we still had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
And that was also like something we realized as we went on throughout the tour is that there was a bunch of troubleshooting we had to do, sometimes mid-set.
Oh yeah.
But that's mostly on me because I'm playing drums, worrying about my hardware moving around, as well as the playback.
I've noticed like
stuff.
I feel like I've noticed it in the same song, like in Rochester and in Binghamton. There's one part where like you're playing like you're playing something, and like while you're playing, you're like moving your hi-hat stand closer to you with your foot or something like that.
Yeah, what ends up happening, I'm going to get a little bit technical here.
Let's
What
get
ends up happening is that my double pedal, the left side, like the
Just like the base of it shift. And
well,
kinda push
there's
your thing.
that. I don't have a huge problem with that anymore, but because like it has spikes in it.
Okay.
But like the cog that the chain pulls,
Okay.
that's like right over the pedal itself, starts to rub up against the hi-hat
Oh,
stand,
yep,
and that
I've been
can break it.
Mhm.
So that's
Also, you're kind of like trying to make it so it's not rubbing so much on it. Is that
Yeah.
kinda like? Oh, okay. I've been there.
So anyway, yeah, Providence was fine. It was a really cool space, and we were fortunate enough to work with the sound guy was the production manager at Fat Music Hall. So
I don't know
high
what that is, but
caliber.
cool.
One of the like larger standing room venues in
Oh,
Providence.
okay, nice.
So like we were fortunate enough to be working with him. Shout out Micah.
Shout out Micah.
So
Can I get shout out Micah in the chat.
so then the next day we played Philly. What was really weird about the show is that it was a metal matinee. So it was a midday show.
Yeah, those are. There's been like one, maybe two like matinee shows in Binghamton over the last few years. The only one that I like remember went really well, but that's a whole other thing. Like, it was just like people in like the same kind of clique, and that's not a bad thing. But it was like people in the same clique being like, I'm gonna support, their homies. I'm gonna support them. But that was like the only time that I've seen a matinee show, and it went very well. But
Hell yeah.
you don't see it very often, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Space was quite narrow.
Mm-hmm.
The stage was like deeper than it was wide. But you know what? They had
playing in a hole.
They had a kind of felt like it. But but they had a lighting rig which is like my kryptonite sometimes.
Oh yeah, because probably just staring right in your.
Well, yeah, actually, because like my next step with this band is to build a lighting rig and have a fully automated show.
Ooh.
But like
My neighbor's upstairs making noise.
yeah, when at the point where like the lights started flashing in my eyes, I was like, well, this is, I guess you could say it's conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't flashing different colors, it was flashing on and off, which is
Oh,
a
okay.
greater contrast and can really fuck with you.
Oh yeah.
So can I swear on this podcast?
Fuck yeah, you can.
Fuck
swear
yeah,
on
I
here.
can. Fuck you, John.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
I had nothing. Yeah, you are allowed to swear in here if you don't want to. You don't have to, but you have that option.
All right, fuck yeah. I'm going to fucking swear all the fuck
Let's
I want
fucking go.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, yeah. The only thing I ask, I'm like, just don't be a.
Yeah,
don't be-
no,
yeah.
of course.
You-
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly was also okay. We had one of our friends pull up. Shout out Keenan Salazar. If you end up watching this, we love you very much, bro. And also special shout out to him for being just an incredible person, incredible musician. Like, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was cool. Also didn't have a huge turnout because it was like midday. Then we had an off day. We drove out to Buffalo, and then we spent some of the day in at Niagara Falls.
Is that when you were doing the?
Yeah.
Pictures?
We were doing like for example, like say this lamp is this. Everything's backwards. This lamp is like Niagara Falls. Like we would do the thing where like you know
Like the
we
Leaning
would
Tower
have
of Pisa or
yeah
whatever
yeah
kind of
I did
thing?
that with the like the Space Needle type thing that was behind it.
Just like touristy, but like. Not,
Oh yeah,
not
it was
proper
like
touristy.
ironically bad
Yeah,
tourist
yeah.
photos. So that was cool, and like we inadvertently did that on Earth Day, so that's what made it a whole lot more special.
Mm-hmm.
Then yesterday we played. The day after we played Rochester.
Mm-hmm. The day before. I don't know what that is. I just wanted to do that voice.
Yeah, it was.
I'm gonna do the
let's
whole
see.
rest of the interview like that.
Yeah, April 21st was our
April
day. That was our
21st.
off day. Then April 22nd we played the Bug Jar in Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
That's when we met.
Yeah, and that's when we met John for the first time, and
And they were like, "Hey, asshole, I'm staying at your house twice." I was like, "Okay."
but yeah,
They've been very nice. They've been very nice.
yeah, man. Like we had a whole lot of fun with you guys.
Hearing Jake only talking his Joe Swanson voice.
Yeah, man. Forgive me. I'm. Why am I blanking on the names of the bands?
It's
We're so-
the bands that we.
Yeah.
Yeah, God's Love and Disruptor. Yeah.
Yeah, Disruptor and God's Love. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, John.
It's okay.
We're all a bit
I'll
tired.
be honest. When you guys were like first, like when I was like first talking to you guys and everything, and like you were here, like mainly because I was tired, but I was like, I'm not remembering anybody's names right now. So I was like, hey, this is the band, and I was like hoping that you guys would say it, but I know now.
Yeah. And yeah, super cool space.
Mhm. Yeah, I wanted to play Rochester, like the Bug Jar specifically, for like a year or so now, because I've just like seen videos of it and stuff, and I heard it was a cool place, and I just never got the chance to.
Yeah,
But-
our friend Max, who booked this tour for us, was telling us that was a really cool space. It's like so well decorated, sounds good too. And their drummer in their band was also telling me the same, just like reiterating that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was probably one of the most unique spaces. We've
Yeah,
ever
it had
played.
like an entire like kitchen set up on
the ceiling.
And it's funny because not to like sidetrack or whatever, but like we were doing we had like a long drive, ask us something thing on our Instagram, and my buddy Tyler Reed from Second Suitor, what's up Tyler? He Tyler,
Hey, Tyler.
my buddy Tyler asked us a question. He's like, "Can you make me a grilled cheese sandwich?" in our Ask Me Anything kind of thing. And so our vocalist Tyler Hernandez, we took a picture of him like reaching for the stove. And we're like, "We can try, but it's gonna be upside down."
Yeah, man. It was a cool spot. We enjoyed it, and we made a lot of new friends that night. Man, God's Love was incredible.
Yeah, they're just like, so I've been friends with Casey for a while, the drummer of God's Love,
Yeah.
but because he used to live in Binghamton, and so I've been friends with him for a while, and he's just like always so stoked to see any of us. He's like, "Oh, you guys are here, fuck yeah, dude!" And he's just like always so excited. I remember they played this. Wait, where is it? This show actually? Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
first time I played with them.
Hell
It was a Friday the 13th show, and I remember their vocalist was like super cool dude, but he just really took me off. He like caught me off guard because he was talking about like I'm sure there was a segue. I just don't remember it, but he was like at one point he was just started talking about like LSD or something, and I was like, "Oh God, this is where we are." But
Yeah.
it was fun. He just caught me off guard, like I said. But yeah, they were
Actually,
very cool.
Speaking of bands that we played with on
Speaking
this
of
tour,
LSD, no, I'm kidding.
special shout out to the Astral Cadence, who we played with in Philadelphia, because they're instrumental prog metal type stuff. Lots of double thumping on guitars. Animals as leaders
Nice.
type stuff. They were great, and like if like whoever hears this should absolutely go check them out.
Nice. What are they called?
The Astral Cadence.
The Astral Cadence. Okay.
Yep.
If I remember, I'll put a link to them in the description of this. But if I don't, get off my back.
Yep.
Um,
All right. So
and then that brings us to Binghamton.
that brings us to Binghamton. That was that very fun show.
Yeah, it seemed very fun. I went there and I was very pleasantly surprised for the turnout on a Monday night.
Yeah,
Was
and
it Monday?
like,
Yeah, it was Monday.
was it? No, it was actually Tuesday.
I'm wrong. It was Tuesday.
Tuesdays are like notoriously the worst day to play a show,
Mhm.
and that has been our best turnout by far.
Nice.
Ironically speaking, but like, a lot of my shit broke.
Yeah, okay, that's a good segue. 'Cause I had some questions about that for you guys. So, played Binghamton show. They played with Stormhood and Offbeat Degradations. Super solid band, super cool. Like them a lot. You had something going on with your guitar when that was happening. What was that? Because I saw you. I was like, I want to help, but I don't know how.
Yeah, so basically I'm running a wireless system for most of this tour, and it's basically just the most bottom of the barrel wireless that you can get. It's Amazon Basics. And it's basically just like a repackaged X5. Like
Okay.
just how they'll just take a wholesale product and just repackage it. But the problem is, I think what was happening is that the off switch is on the back of it, and it kept like rubbing against my clothes and just getting switched
gotcha.
off.
Does it like take a little while for it to like boot back up?
Yeah,
whatever?
or I think it would
Okay.
hit the channel switch, and then you have to hit it multiple times to get back to the right channel.
Oh.
So I would just be
Damn.
cutting out for like a good chunk of multiple songs,
Mm-hmm.
which sucked because it was the most fun show of our tour. We were getting the most feedback from the crowd, and I'm just there like, fuck, like why isn't it working?
Yeah.
my
Oh
God.
no, I've been there.
And yeah, that was just like really painful. And I didn't have a 1/4 inch like right next to me, so I couldn't just switch over quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And our set, at least last night, didn't have a lot of breaks in it. Usually we have more like interludes, but because we were cutting it shorter, yeah, it was just like
Didn't really have a
I
whole
guess
lot
I
of time
gotta,
to
I
like
guess
kind
I
of
gotta
troubleshoot and try to fix it or whatever.
Sorry, it's really talking over you there. Yeah.
I was talking over you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry.
I will. St-
But yeah, it was just like, all right, I guess I'm gonna tough it out and just pretend like I'm having a good time here, and
I pretended I was having fun, but really I was miserable. No, I'm just kidding.
that's like par for the course a lot for shows. Like sometimes something breaks and you just keep going. and That's
Yeah,
it.
we Disruptor played in Ballston Spa. It was at a tattoo shop, which was fucking awesome. Like the Rob guy that I was telling you about a minute ago. Yeah, shout out Rob. He like booked us for that show because his drummer, I believe, owns the tattoo shop. So they like booked a show there, and I was like super excited. I was like, "Cool, we're playing out of Binghamton, sick!" And I was excited to be up there with friends and everything. Hold on, come on, computer. Okay.
We're back.
Where are my resticles? No. But no, like we were playing up there, and like I have a wireless just because it's like it's taped to my thing, so I'm like, yeah, I'll use my wireless. And the batteries in it started dying, and it would just like we started out with one song that starts out with just guitar, like just me, so it's like dun 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 dun, but it cut out, so it was like dun 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 dun.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, what do I do? Yeah, it sucked, but
Yeah.
it's been there.
Feel ya,
It's
yeah.
not fun.
Yeah, sometimes the room also isn't suited to it, so you'll get like those weird noises coming in, and it's just like, oh man. Like,
What's this weird noise? Oh, that's just me.
Yeah.
No.
yeah. The problem is too, like if I'm running a cable too, like I've been known to trip on things.
Yeah.
I'm not the most
I
sure-footed
did that
person,
recently.
and it's just yeah.
So
have to
you
balance
guys,
it.
for your like setup and everything, you're using what FM3s or whatever? What is
yeah,
is that what it's called?
we're using Fractal FM3s.
Okay.
Do anyone else want to take this one actually? Yeah.
Yeah. What was like the? Oh, did you really?
Yeah, so because I was the first out of everyone to own the Fractal FM3.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a like music producer and
Okay.
audio engineer and stuff like that. So I just wanted a unit. I play guitar like
I wanted a fucking.
yeah.
unit.
I wanted a unit to play guitar through. So I got the FM3 and it was great. You know, the CPU power compared to like an X3 is like greatly reduced, but for what we use it for, we don't need.
It's
a
perfect
million
for what
thi-
you're
yeah,
using
it's
it
like
for, kind of.
perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, super portable. So we use those. Thomas has his own. Griffin uses mine.
Okay.
So that's my FM3 that we're using. And I built the tones for both of them. And basically those, what used to happen was before we had Griffin, it was just either with bass or we still don't have a bass player
I was gonna
and-
make a joke about like, where's your bass player? But you beat me to it.
on the computer. Yeah. Basically. So what we used to do is we used to run Thomas into the input of the Scarlett interface, and I would set up a Logic session to have automated panning. So
Okay.
basically, he would be on the left for the show. Whenever he would solo, it would pan to the middle,
Oh, okay.
and then the backing guitar would come in for both sides.
Damn, this is already way more complicated than anything I'm used to.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
it's
I hit my distortion and then I just make noise.
yeah, and it was super cool. Like it was a lot of technical stuff. But now
Mhm.
that we have two guitars, we can just run bass in the tracks, and
Nice.
just from when we started to now, I've come to the realization of like, you don't need all the vocals mixed and mastered in the backing tracks or all the effects, and like you don't need all that. So having two guitars is just like I stripped away all the panning
Nice.
automation. Like we don't have any
Made it, like,
backing
more
guitars
bare
when he solo.
bones
Yeah,
kinda thing?
more
Okay.
bare bones. There's no vocals in the backing tracks anymore. Now that
Gotcha.
Griffin can take some of that, and like some of our songs have like 8 harmonies in the
Ooh,
vocals
nice. I love that.
for the singing parts, but like, and it sounds really cool when they're in the backing tracks, but it's more organic when it's just like
Yeah.
me and or like when Griffin's singing, I just like harmonize with him. Like
Mm-hmm.
just little things like that have made the shows just more organic, and you know
Mm-hmm.
we sound less of like a super prog band and more just like a band who sings
Yeah,
in their
okay,
songs.
that's fair.
But the guitar rigs are Fractal FM3s. Pretty simple setups, just like amp cab, overdrive pedal.
Yeah. What
we
made
don't-
you guys decide to like do that instead of like cabs and whatnot?
I mean, space mostly.
fair.
I think also we're younger, so literally, like the oldest person here is 23. So when we were growing up, like and also the oldest people we aren't even like guitar players by trade. So when we were like had the ability to buy guitar gears, like modelers were getting really good, plugins were getting really good,
Fair.
and the YouTubers that we watch like used modelers and plugins and stuff like that. So why would we buy a 4x12 cab that we can't fit in the car?
He didn't mean it.
Yeah. When we're living in Boston going to school, when our apartment,
Yeah, no, that's
our
fair.
whole apartment is the size of this room, and we have neighbors,
Yeah, no,
everywhere.
that's
So
fair, yeah.
it only makes sense for us to have
Mm-hmm.
modelers or plugins and stuff like that, and especially in the Boston scene, it's like for kids our age, it's a little bit more rare to have an amp in a cab. It's super sick.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Okay.
because a lot of the time when the house show thing was going on, like, you know, maybe, actually, most of those people had amps and cabs, but it was like, it was for metal, they didn't really have amps and cabs that
Okay.
much. But also, you would see like when they're playing a super small stage in the basement of a house venue, like for us to just bring in a little model or put it on the floor, great.
Yeah.
Versus like
No,
having
that
to,
makes-
having
that
to
makes
haul
sense,
everything
yeah.
in here, you know.
I remember because I think I was I think probably you on the Clifford Instagram, but I was talking to somebody, I was talking to you about like if you had like a cab that we could borrow or whatever, possibly, because we like our vehicle situation was kind of like finicky, because we've been renting a van from Aaron's dad. Shout out Aaron. We've
Shout
been
out
renting
Aaron.
we've been renting a van from his dad, and our show in Plattsburgh. Unfortunately, Reggie had to drive himself because he had some stuff going on, and he's like, "Yeah, I have to be back like sooner than you guys are like trying to get back, so I'm just gonna drive myself there, and then after the show, I'm gonna drink enough caffeine to fuel a horse, and then I'm gonna drive back home." So we had enough room for like all of our stuff in the van, but now that there was 5 of us in it, we had like next to no room. So I was like, we can fit like Jake's cab is like the same. It's a 2x12, but it's smaller than this. It's a little more condensed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe we can borrow one from Clifford because they're the only other band on the show, and God's Love only has one guitar cab. Who knows? But then you were like, oh, you can use our
Yeah.
what is it?
It's FM3.
Okay, yeah, you were like you can use our FM3 if you want, and I was like, I don't know what that is, and I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna see if I can not do that just because I'm nervous. But
Yeah, no, you wouldn't have messed it up. What you would have done is you run like a pedal board of some kind.
yeah, so realistically, all I have for effects is like I'm on the clean channel of this, and I have like a JHS overdrive and an Evil Ned. And I love that Evil Ned. Still working on like tone shaping and everything,
Yeah.
but like other than that, I just have an like the Pitchfork octave when I want to just sound really disgusting. So I throw that on, but I was like, I don't know how that would really work with something like that, and I was just like, we'll just bring a cab. It's fine. Everything will be fine, and I won't mess anything up. So
Yeah, for the future, what you could have done is just run your pedal board just directly into our FM3.
oh, that's a thing
And
you
we
can do.
could have
Okay.
just gone. We have like a clean tone that we already have set
Oh,
up,
okay.
so we can just go there, just turn off reverb and delay and all that stuff,
Oh, okay.
compression, just have it basically just be the
Nice to
clean
know for
tone.
the future. No.
Yeah. And then the only difference is you just instead of having stage volume from a cab, you just have stage volume from a monitor.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say I feel like I've seen like the only one that comes to mind is like Chelsea Grin. I think they were talking about. They did an interview one time where they were like, "Yeah, we haven't brought any cabs on this tour," and I was like, "How does that work?" Because I'm an idiot. I was like, "How does that work?" But that makes sense to have something like that. So that's interesting.
It also helps that all those bands are on in-ears, so
Yeah.
they can hear themselves. So like when we play a venue with no monitors, we kind of sacrifice that, where it's like we
Yeah.
hope we can hear ourselves,
Yeah.
or we hope they can hear themselves, because there's no that's the only thing
There's
we
nothing
rely
coming
on.
back at it, yeah.
But another thing you can do, especially with modelers, is literally you could buy however cheap of a speaker you want and just run another output to the speaker,
Oh,
because
okay.
that output already has amp cab effects on it.
I was gonna say, does that have like amp sims or whatever on
Yeah,
it too?
so like
okay,
you could
cool.
run it a million different ways. You can run like what we do is we have an XLR that has just the tone complete. That goes to front of house. That's what you hear
Gotcha,
there.
okay, that makes
but
sense.
then if we wanted to, we could run a tone that only has the amplifier on it but no cabinet. Plug it into a power amp, plug it into a cabinet, and that gives you stage volume.
Oh, okay.
And there's multiple outputs on the FM3, so you could kind
Gotcha,
of do what you want. But in theory, you could do one to front of house and another one just to a random speaker that you just put behind you, like elevated, so you could hear yourself a little bit.
Okay, I feel like I remember. So, my old band recorded with Eric Navrosky. Shout out Eric. Eric Navrosky from he plays bass in a band called Toothless. He plays drums in a band called So Much Hope Buried. He was on the podcast of like a month or two ago. He has a recording studio, and one time when my old band went there, he had this thing where it had like dozens of different like combinations of like, oh, this one is like a Mesa with this microphone, and this one's a Mesa with this microphone. It's just a lot of different like different combinations. Is it kind of the same kind of deal?
The FM3 is a amp modeling and effects processor, so
Okay.
it has 200 different amplifier models.
I almost said he's got hundreds of different things, but I was like, that might be too much. But that
No,
makes
it has hundreds. To be fair, like 2 different amplifier models can be like Mesa Boogie clean channel, Mesa Boogie overdrive. So
Okay.
that's 2 amplifiers, even though it's the same one. So
Oh, okay,
however
gotcha,
many
okay.
different unique amplifiers is
Yeah.
whatever, but 200 different models.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but also that gives you option paralysis of like, what do I use? What should I do? So, when I build tones, I have like 3 different amplifiers that I really know how to use. Like, I know how to use a Rev. I know how to use a Mesa. I know how to use a 5150. Like, I'm just going to stick to that. I know what an orange cab sounds like. I know what a Mesa cab sounds
Yeah.
like. I'm not going to go through and, I'll do that on my own time, listen to every
Yeah,
cab.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, when
Yeah,
I'm
there was like a few parts in the songs where like we would be like I think it's preamping or whatever. We're like everything is like done, we'd like record it through like plugins or whatever, and then like run it through
Reamping.
What did I say? Preamp? I meant
Yeah.
reamping. Yeah. We were doing that, and like there was a part where he was like, "This part sounds cool with like this thing, and then this part should have this thing, like this combination or whatever." But this stuff is all so like weird and like interesting, but like really weird and confusing to me. But it's just again like super interesting to like hear about it. 'Cause I know nothing about it.
It's interesting because like
So-
it is weird and confusing, but like it's the only thing that probably most of us have ever grew up on.
Okay.
Like at one point, I owned a 6505 mini head and like 2 different 4x12s, and I had like no idea what I was doing. So now, like
I mean,
now,
that's how where I'm at right now.
right
Like,
now,
don't
I
even-
could dial in a tone, but
I
like
play
I
image.
only feel comfortable like with a modeler on a computer, kind of thing, because I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing. But also having a modeler means I can have my like pitch shifting, reverb, delay, like anything and everything just with a tap of a button, and everything can you could change. Yeah, you could
It's
change your
all in the
tone.
box.
Clean you can have a distorted channel of a 5153, and then press a button, and now you have a Vox AC30 as a clean channel.
Okay.
Which like is really cool. You know, obviously, do you need all that for live? Not necessarily, but you know.
It's cool to have though.
Right, and also as a studio guy, at least for right now, with the limited space I have, instead of spending $50,000 on a couple amps and cabs, I have, you know, a million different combinations that sound 90% as good as the
Yeah.
real thing on my floor, not even including all the plugins that I own.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
for the space that I have for the, you know, the effort it would take to own all that stuff, I want to at some point, but
Yeah.
it's just a very compact solution for a huge undertaking.
Yeah, I feel like we've been doing stuff like that, like when it comes to recording, kind of going that route. But there is a part of me, like, I think the next time we record something, we're probably gonna go to Eric again because he's a homie and his stuff sounds great. But I think the next time we go there, I'm gonna see how it would. I kind of miss like miking up a cab and everything. You know what I mean? And just getting that like authentic, like not that that's not authentic, but like that like authentic, like that real sound of like. I don't know. I just miss miking up cabs.
There's something to that.
Yeah, there is something.
But like that's the thing about reamping is like a band like we have no access to amplifiers, but we know how to record ourselves.
Do you
So
guys record everything yourselves?
We
or-
record everything ourselves. We
Oh,
had
okay.
I mean we still have access to the Berkeley studios, but I graduated with production and engineering degree from Berkeley, so I had access to like all the best studios. So basically,
Nice. Just kick the door and like, hey Berkeley.
oh,
recording
literally,
here,
we'd
fuck you."
literally be up until like 6 a.m. some nights, like
Nice.
recording.
Hell
So our album that's out, that was all recorded in the Berkeley studios for the most part. Our single Catalyst was recorded in the studios. This single, Event Horizon, for time constraints, we used programmed drums. And then I recorded.
I'm sorry, I'm just kidding.
Hold on. Let's
Yeah,
clarify
okay,
that.
Let's hear your perspective.
Thomas wrote the skeleton part for the drums, and then I was like, all right, send me the MIDI. I'm going to write them.
Okay.
I'm going to rewrite it as I would play it. And then when we did the music video, I was like, oh, shit.
This
Now I
sucks.
gotta rewrite it so it's playable.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it as I would write it, or as I was
As you would write.
as
drums?
I would write. Yeah, let's try this again.
Take two. No, I'm kidding.
I wrote the drum parts, or I programmed the drum parts as I would write drum parts, and then when it came to like playing it for the music video, because like I'll be totally honest, like when I was writing the parts, I didn't play them out. I was just like, all right, this sounds cool, and this sounds like something I can play.
Yeah.
And then when it came to like learning it for the music video, I was like, oh,
Sucks.
so I had to rewrite some parts to make them more like feasible for me. And but yeah, like it also forced me to like learn things.
Kind of push
As
you
I write
to
them.
like. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
a lot
feel
of
like
the time
I've done something like similar to like. Wow, hold on, I'm having a stroke. I feel like I've done something similar like that.
Let's try that again.
Sir.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Fuck. No. No, I feel like I've done something similar to Aaron. Like, because I, like, demo stuff out here on my computer, and I just use, like, the bare bones, like, MIDI drums that come with the DAW that I use. And I think I made a joke in front of you guys about it, too, Aaron, because he made a comment about it. Fuck you, Aaron. No, I'm kidding. I love you. But
Fuck you, Aaron.
yeah, could I get a fuck you, Aaron? No, I'm kidding. But no, like, I apparently would write parts that were too hard or something. And I'm like, hey, I wrote this thing. I made this part. purposely stupid and difficult because it's funny. You don't have to do it. He's like, no, I'm going to now. And I'm like, you don't have to. He's like, fuck you, I'm gonna. And then he complains about it. I'm just kidding. He doesn't. But yeah, I feel like I've had something similar. It's like, this part's cool, and then it comes to like actually playing it, and it's like, oh, this is hard, and this is stupid.
Yeah. I will also say that the benefit to programming drums, not to say that's going to completely replace recording drums.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I've had a lot of fun recording drums. It's just way quicker to program them.
It is quicker.
Because like we used a couple of libraries from Get Good Drums,
Mm-hmm.
GGD, and go GGD. What's great about them is that you can basically separate every single mic channel into different tracks.
Really? Okay.
For example, like usually room mics or drum room mics would just be 2 tracks. We could split it into kick room, snare room, tom room,
Oh,
cymbal
okay.
room.
So get like a lot more broad.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And then
Talk about in a sec if we can.
yeah. So another thing that's great about it is that you can choose. You could switch out parts of the kit if you don't like them.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Something that I did is I blended 2 different libraries. I used the P5 and P4 libraries.
I know exactly what that is.
I
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so I used the kick, snare, and cymbals from P5 and
okay.
and toms and ride, and also snare and kick from P4. So basically, what I was doing was using parts from different drum libraries,
Gotcha. Okay,
putting
yeah,
them
yeah.
together,
Mhm.
and in some cases layering some of them.
Yep. Okay.
So that way you get more of a wall of sound going on. And then I exported, or I bounced 28 or 29 drum tracks. Yeah, I bounced 28 drum tracks to this motherfucker right here.
Yeah. So I asked him to separate everything out just for mixing purposes, so we
Mhm.
could really get that control and the sound that we
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah.
For this single, usually Drake like mixes and masters all of the music.
Okay.
But I recently joined the band like the past couple of months. I'm also an audio engineer and producer. And I just asked him, was like, hey, do you mind if I take this one? And he was like, sure.
Nice.
So I felt it was a little bit of pressure, but also like very honored to be doing that
Yeah.
for Clifford.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. 28 drum tracks all separated out. We had like snare rooms and everything, and it allowed us to really get that huge, powerful drum
Yeah, yeah.
sound. A lot of snap and crack to it. And then the
Nice.
the guitars.
Fucking nailed it.
Thank you. The guitars and the bass. Every single guitar and bass tone in that song is all the new Mixwave plugin for like, the
Okay.
Spirit Box signature.
Ooh. Nice.
And that thing just sounds incredible.
Mhm.
So.
I feel like that like Spirit Box whatever is like a good fit for like the tone you guys want because
Oh yeah, that just
both
like
both very good bands.
yeah, very like high gain, very
Mhm.
kind of how do I describe like a very brutal, but also like there's a kind of a quality sheen to it. Like
Okay.
it doesn't feel lo-fi or anything like that. There's a
Okay.
lot of harmonic content within it, and yeah, it just works for everything, especially surprisingly for the bass tone.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I almost just made a "Where's your bassist" joke again, but I was like, I already mentioned that I was gonna make that joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what are some like what tune do you guys play in first off? You guys have like 8 strings, right?
Let's
7
let
or 8
Thomas
strings.
take this one.
Hey, Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Yee yee.
So we started out using 3 tunings. We would use like on our first album, it's all either 8-string drop E, 7-string drop A, or we at the time we used 6-string baritones. I guess we
Mhm.
still are, but 6-string baritone double drop C sharp. So yeah, that's it's they're low tunings all around. Recently we've been doing less drop A, drop E, and mostly entirely C sharp.
Nice. Okay.
It's been a lot of fun. I've just really enjoyed that tuning. For the longest time, what we did was we would just use, just 6-string 30-inch scale guitars for that C sharp. But recently I've acquired, or not, I guess not recently anymore, but I have the Meshuggah signature 8-string, which is
Nice.
like an extended scale 8-string, and I put that in the C sharp thing that we use, but so it's 6-string C sharp standard, which I've found I love. It's my new
I know
favorite
what that
tuning.
means.
Yeah, it's just E standard, but
Okay.
3 notes down.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's I mean, if you're in drop B, you're basically there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So it's just drop B but in standard and
Okay.
then with 2 extra low strings.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing that. Yeah, we've got some new stuff coming out that goes like stupid far lower than that.
What's the lowest you guys have done?
The lowest that we have
Lowest tuning
done?
you guys have played in?
The low it will be on the EP that Drake was talking about. We got G sharp 0, so that's the black key below the lowest note of the piano.
I don't need to take a nap. Or something.
Yeah. So that's anything lower than that, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, because it's like.
It's like anything lower than that, it just sounds like mud.
Yeah, I mean, we use, like, for our set, I guess the lowest thing, because we did a cover of Smokey by Amir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came in, I went outside for a second at the Rochester show, and I came in, you guys were playing something, I was like, this sounds kind of familiar. And then I
Yeah.
saw Aaron just, like, Aaron was, like, he was, like, singing or whatever, and you just
Yeah.
gave him the mic, and he just hopped up there. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
His deep vocals are so good.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
Like, I just yell in a deep voice. That's how
Yeah.
I do my deep vocals. And he's like actually has like technique and everything. And I'm like, we were doing a demo for the 2 songs that we just recorded recently, or we released recently, Trance and Ulcer. We were doing a demo for that to give to Eric to be like, hey, here's what the songs are gonna sound like. And at the end of Trance, he just did like a guttural for the entire end section of it. So it's just the kind
That's
of thing,
awesome.
but better. But he did that for like the entire ending, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
in a good way. In a good way.
It's great.
But yeah, he's a very good vocalist.
Yeah. No, it was so much fun having him on the stage. We love when people do that.
Yeah. I've been really pushing to because like years ago in Binghamton there was like, I'm sure you guys had it too, but like I know in Binghamton there was like a big thing of like what's the term? There was like jumping on people and like mic grabbing, and,
Yeah.
like just like jumping on people's back and like yelling the words and everything. I miss that so much,
It's
and
the
I'm
best.
really trying to get people to start doing it again.
No, yeah.
So I've been really pushing like, hey, here's our song, here's the lyrics for it too, you know. But it'll
yeah.
happen
It's
eventually.
it's always fun.
Would I grab the mic?
Yeah.
He
He just did it. You see? No, I'm just-
Whoa. Yeah, I know what, because Farsight, who we played with, they played.
Counting Worms.
Did they play Counting Worms?
Yeah, they did.
Nice.
So they did Counting Worms. So I was like, oh, who doesn't know that
Yeah,
song?
yeah, exactly.
And then one of the other bands that we played with. Oh, was it Raid?
It was Raid.
Okay, so Raid.
Shadow Legends.
Raid
the sponsor
Shadow
of
Legends,
this
yes.
video. No, I'm kidding.
No, Raid, a band that we're friends with, who's also a Berkeley band. They played Requiem by Chelsea Grin, which I know the song, don't know the lyrics, but they're my friends. So I was like, I'm gonna go up on stage and like
Make noise.
make noise.
Yeah.
So I did that.
In the words of Tyler from Disruptor, he's like, I'm gonna go make ignorant grumble noises.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he said that in like the episode I did with him. He was like, yeah, I'm in Disruptor and I make ignorant grumble noises, and I was like, that's the best like description of doing vocals that I've ever heard.
Yeah, so I did at the same show. I went up on stage twice with the other 2 bands
Nice.
and did that. That was also a show that like it was on Super Bowl Sunday. There was, I don't know if there was like any people at that show.
We had some groupies there.
Hell yeah.
There was a couple.
We love groupies here. No,
There was a couple people at the show,
go
but
take
like,
a lap.
all right. Anyway, we just closed the door on him.
Yeah, if you're only listening, he got up and left, and then closed the door on him. Here he is.
Oh, hi. We weren't talking about you.
Anyway, that's why Corey is.
That's why. Yeah, that's why we don't like. Anyway,
we love Corey.
there
We
just
love
wasn't a
everyone.
lot of people at that show, so it's like, how can we like show our support for the other bands?
Yeah.
And also feed my ego a little bit. And
That's the
it
best
was
part
the
of it.
perfect combination where it's like, you know, we're in the crowd, we're supporting them, and also I get to be on stage for longer than I was scheduled to be on stage for. It was great. But yeah, the whole like thing of people grabbing the mic and knowing the words is like super cool. We had a lot of that when we kind of first started out because we were in like deep rooted in the Berkeley community, especially the house show scene, where people just like knew the couple songs that we had out. And then the house show scene just kind of faded, and we all like, you know, the Boston Globe thing. So
yeah, because I think it was you where you were somebody was mentioning it to me, talking to
I
me
was
about
gonna
it
say,
a
if you
little
know
bit.
more.
Yeah, go.
Well,
Yeah.
probably the same as you, but yeah. So Boston, and especially like surrounding the Berkeley area, had a really thriving house show scene for the past couple of years, and that's how a lot of Berkeley bands were coming up. Were through these like various very popular house show venues, and they were actually quite professional as well. A lot of them had like lighting rigs and good PA systems, and like people who treated it like a job, like that it was. Yeah.
I want to say that like in the right situations, you can make a good amount of money with those shows
Oh,
because all of your friends would show up. They would charge like $10 at the door to 100 people.
Yeah.
And it's not a real venue, so they would just take a little cut just to make sure their
It's
house
like,
was
hey,
good.
This is my house. I'm gonna
And
take
then you
$100.
get like a couple hundred, and then it's all your friends. So you just like sell merch. Like
Yeah.
those shows, when done right, were some of the most profitable,
Yeah.
most fun shows we
I love
ever played.
house shows like
It
that.
was,
I miss
it
them.
was like a golden era. It was so good. And then someone, I think they've remained anonymous, but somebody working for the Boston Globe decided to write an article about the Boston house show scene. Obviously, this was in good faith. Like,
Yeah.
they just thought it was, like, hey, this is a thriving scene. We're going to write about it.
This
it's
is cool. Let's tell people about
However, they included a little bit too much information in this article, and it caused police to start cracking down all of these, technically unregistered venues in the city, and it just completely decimated the house show
that
scene. So
sucks.
now there's maybe like 2 venues that are still running in Boston, and they have to keep it like their address is like very hush hush.
Is it one of those like ask a punk DM for address kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay.
It always
Yep.
has been.
Do you feel like, because somebody mentioned that to me, not to sidetrack you,
No,
but
no,
like,
no,
do you
no,
feel
no.
like that's like kind of gatekeepy to be like DM for address or ask a punk or whatever? Because I don't think it's really gatekeepy.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's in this
Yeah.
situation, definitely it's warranted. But I know there are probably some people that are like, I only want certain people to come, so you have to ask me for the address.
In this case, it's more of a safety precaution.
Absolutely.
And just more staying underground. But if it were like a real registered venue, then it's gatekeeping.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I wanted someone else's kind of take on that because that doesn't really come up that much.
Yeah,
But
I'm the same. I agree with him.
Sorry, my ADHD.
No,
gets
you're
the
good.
better of me.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
I'm peeling something off my mic as I'm like my ADHD sometimes, and I'm just like peeling a sticker off. Anyway,
He's not
Real.
paying attention.
I'm not.
To his guests.
Who are you guys? No. Why are you in my house?
Yeah, and it just decimated the scene.
That's such a bummer.
It's been bad. I think Boston is still recovering from it, and you can kind of start to see the bounce back
Good.
happening as more house venues are starting to kind of pop up and becoming popular again. But it really hurt everybody.
Yeah.
and it sucked. So
Let's book a house show tour.
let's do it. Let's make it happen.
I have not played. I think I was mentioning to you guys before. I haven't played a house show in this band, or just in years. And I miss
The
them.
tour that we did before this, which was like a year ago or something like that, we toured with our friends in Nailed Shut, who are probably going to be extremely blowing up in the next few months, but like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're blowing up right now. We did basically a house show tour where, was it 4 days, 5 days, or 5 days? The first 2 or 3 shows were kind of regular venues, whatever, and we played a couple days in a row, 2 or 3 days in a row, where we played weekends in college towns, like right next to major universities, at house venues.
Nice.
And the entire crowd was just drunk college kids who were there to party. And that's like the best audience because all they want to do is move around. We're playing
just
heavy
there,
stuff.
yeah.
They don't know our songs, but as long as we're bringing the energy,
Yeah, as
it's
long
great.
as there's energy, there's music, and it's like
And-
fast paced and
And they'll
energetic
buy
and
merch
fun.
because they go to, UConn or Villanova. Like they have the money to pay $25 for a shirt. So
yeah, they have their parents' money.
like,
It's fine.
those are some of the most profitable shows we've ever played. And like one of the most profitable things we've ever done was like play those house show venues.
Nice.
But it's like finding the right house show venues at the right time with the
Mm-hmm.
right people. Because luckily those shows were shows that we didn't really have to worry about pulling anyone. It was just we knew there was going to be people.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
tour was a learning experience of like realizing how important communities are to a metal scene,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that if it's just not like that, then people just won't show up to the show.
Yeah.
So the show yesterday, like we didn't pull anyone. We weren't expecting to pull anyone,
Yeah.
but the other 2 bands have just a lot of friends. Even if they're like high school, they're all friends there. So we got like, even if it was 20 people show up to the show, that's still however much door money.
Yeah.
If even a couple people buy shirts, it's like absolutely worth it. And
Oh, yeah.
most importantly, the crowd energy was like amazing. It
Made
was
it worth
definitely
it.
a pick me up show for us. We're all friends here, so
Binghamton on top. Let's go.
no, literally, like the vibes coming into the show were just kind of, our morale was at our lowest. We just played some shows that, we thought were going to be good and weren't good, or like, we've driven all this money, paid all this money for gas, and it just hasn't really paid off. It's one thing to not sell any merch, but like as long as we're just playing in front of people who have never seen us before, but like it just wasn't really happening. And this show was finally one where it's like, all right, we sold a couple shirts, we played in front of a crowd who was receptive to our stuff. It was just a very nice way to go into this last day of tour. So playing the house shows, just making sure there's a good community around it, making sure that that people will actually pull up to the show. Some of the best shows that we've played that we could probably play.
Yeah, hell yeah, I love that. That's probably actually a good spot to end it, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about, because we got some time. Like 10 minutes.
Cool.
Let's just sit here in silence for 10 minutes. No, I'm not actually gonna do that. I was ready to commit to the bit for like a good maybe 20 seconds of just staring into my camera, but I was like, I don't know how they'll feel about it, so I won't do it.
We love bits.
I already broke. I'm sorry. No. Okay. So Clifford, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for playing Binghamton and becoming homies and everything. Glad to have met you.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Thank you, and thank you for housing.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to house bands since I got an apartment. So I don't remember who it was, but someone made a group chat on Instagram about the show in Rochester, and they're like, "Would anybody be able to house Clifford?" And I was like, "I can do it. Yeah, I have an apartment. Yeah, it's fine." So yeah, it was cool. Is there anything you want to say or plug before we head out or before we finish up here?
Can I say something?
The yappy man. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I heard it once and I had to say it. I'm sorry. Hey, remember when I first met you and you were like, "Hey, what's your scale length?" "Oh, it's 25 and a half." "You pussy."
Get on the baritone train.
I tried. It's hard. I have small fingers.
Well, whatever.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not even a guitarist, so I have no say in that. But make sure your gear's not on the verge of breaking all the time.
Yes, that's important.
I literally at yesterday's show, the plastic seat that holds my cymbal,
Yeah,
and it
the
was my
felt and
most
everything.
expensive cymbal too, fucking collapsed. And I mean, fortunately, it didn't break the cymbal, but the cymbal was rubbing up against the metal material.
Yeah. Ugh.
That is the stand, and that's what breaks cymbals.
Yeah. Yeah. Be careful with your gear.
Make sure your cables are in check as well, because we've had our interface cut out a few times, and that runs our bass and backing tracks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Be
Yes.
careful with your gear.
long
That's gonna
story
be the title
short,
of this episode. Be careful with your gear.
and here's a big morality thing, on top of the whole gear thing, and just taking care of yourself. Have vitamins when you're doing DIY tours.
Yes.
Be sure to have a good share of healthy food. Stay hydrated. And in
It
the
shouldn't
case
be something that needs to be said, but yeah, stay hydrated.
and in the case where the turnout isn't as good as you thought would be, to keep your morale going, play for yourselves and have fun.
Yeah. I know, on the way up to Rochester, I was kind of going through something real quick. I'm sorry. I was kind of going through something, and I my therapist. Also, go to therapy. My therapist was telling me a way to try to combat those things, and I had to literally meditate in the back of the van. We rode for 3 hours up to Rochester. I had merch. I had the merch box on my lap the whole time. I'm in the back of the van. Nobody can see me or hear me. I was already going through stuff here, and I was just I'm playing shows. I'm playing music. This is cool. I'm allowed to be upset. And I did that stuff, so that's also helpful. But yeah, just get your morale up. That's very good.
Yeah.
You was right. What were you gonna say, Griff?
I was just gonna say, listen to the new single.
Yeah.
Yeah. Event Horizon just came out, 420. Go check it out on all platforms. Music videos on YouTube. Yeah. Clifford underscore band on everything.
Band. Okay.
Anyone else want
I'll
to
put the links to your guys' Instagram and Spotify and stuff.
For those of you who have seen us live on this tour or just in general, you've probably heard a couple of our unreleased songs and us talking about that EP. So we're putting out these singles and doing these tours and stuff to build up some hype for that EP. So keep on the lookout for that. It doesn't have a name yet. The songs don't even have names yet.
You
But
should name the EP Bear. No,
maybe we
I'm
will
kidding.
name the EP Bear, but it will be the return.
That's my cat.
For those who are interested, it'll be the return of live drumming Corey, because
Ooh.
these singles have programmed drums, and we recorded these singles or the EP a while ago, so it has real drums on it for those who
Hey.
care about that and enjoy that real drums. So
Nice.
yeah, listen to our stuff, Clifford underscore band on Instagram, which will take you to a link tree that can take you anywhere you want to go to see us.
Nice. All right. Well, again, Clifford, thank you so much. Griffin, Corey, Drake, Thomas. I remembered all your names now.
Let's go.
Fucking go. Thank you guys for being
I
here.
can't remember yours.
It's okay. I don't exist. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
bud.
John. We love you, man.